absolutely. But she was just seeing the course and everything, and
I see
they,
the course and
I
everything.
loved it. I respect that, Lynn. I love the way, hey, that's who you are. That's what you do. I loved it.
Yeah, I love the way it relates. Everything relates to a course.
yeah,
And they say in the rooms, take what you need and leave the rest.
yeah.
The words that, words or symbols are symbols twice removed from
Well, I
reality.
think you were so overwhelmed with that you gave it a little nudge out the door and brought the miracles back. But I love you for it.
Well, that I don't think she's that nefarious. Um,
She
Well,
wasn't mysterious. She boldly did it. She boldly came to the throne.
oh my gosh. Yeah. Um,
let
what?
it flow. Let everything flow.
Well, Brooklyn, I had a person at work one time tell me, Lynn, you are meek and subversive. And I realized, yep, I was meek and subversive, and that's you too, Brooklyn. So,
No, you, meek and subversive?
oh, if you knew me during my working days, uh, I evolved tremendously from when I first started out in the world. I used to be very um, sneaky. I was definitely, yeah, subversive to the ego, exactly. All
Mhm.
right. So yeah, uh Bob's asking if we want to finish watching that Young video, and we could do that also. I just thought I'd introduce something kind of fresh tonight, and uh see, I don't know if I think most everybody is um familiar with Bruce Lipton.
Mhm.
Um, but if you're not, um, I'm just going to go ahead and play this and see what y'all think. So, and I'm not flipping over to go to put this on the radio. So if people are listening on the radio, I'm sorry, they're going to not hear this, but I'll play it later. Just because it's a pain in the butt. You know, I mean, it's, God, how lazy I am. You know,
When I was working, I got written up for wearing a Betty Boop t-shirt.
oh,
Yeah,
well, I never did anything like
I don't know what you call that.
that. Uh, all right. So we have this Dr. Bruce Lipton explains how to reprogram your mind, and it's only 13 minutes long. So I thought that'd give us a good chance to listen and absorb a little bit, and then we can come back and talk about it. So here we go.
Poor and rich people stay rich. The movie The Matrix is not science fiction. It's a documentary. Every human, and it's a fact, every human first 7 years is download a hypnosis. The brain of a child under 7 is in a lower vibrational frequency. When you put wires on a person's head, you read electroencephalograph, reading brain activity. A child below 7 has a lower vibration than consciousness. It's called theta. Theta is imagination. Oh, that's how kids play tea party with mud pies, but to them it's a real thing. A kid rides a broom, it's a horse. That's theta, imagination. Theta is also hypnosis. And the idea is this: before you can become conscious, if you don't have any programs, what are you going to be conscious of? So nature makes the first 7 years. What kind of programs are required to live on this planet? I say, how do you get them? Theta is hypnosis. You just watch. You watch your parents, you watch your siblings and your community, because you have to learn how many 100,000 rules. Think about it. Just to be a functional member of a family and a functional member of a community, there are rules. Teach an infant these rules. Oh, you don't have to. First 7 years, they observe it and just download it. And then I say, well, why is it relevant? Because this is the unfortunate fact. 95% of our life comes from those programs in the subconscious. Every day, only about 5% of their life are you using conscious, which is creative. 5%. And you don't see it because it's called subconscious, below conscious. And the Jesuits, for 400 years, they were boasting. People didn't understand. They say, give me a child until it's 7 and I will show you the man. They've been saying that for 400 years because they knew 7 years was the program period. And 95% of your life after that will be whatever that program is. A child isn't functioning in consciousness until after 7. Before 7 is direct record. Whatever you just said, I just recorded it. So if the parent gets mad at the child and says, you don't deserve that, you don't deserve this, go. The child is not consciously understanding what you mean. Child's just recorded, I do not deserve. Now, if I hear that several times, especially in an emotional situation, because that downloads it faster, now I'm 40, 50 years old. What is my behavior 95% of the time? And the answer is, well, it comes from the program. I do not deserve. Well, that means unconsciously I will sabotage myself to make sure that the program is correct. I'm making the program true by adjusting the behavior to meet the program. Look, this is not new. I mean, there's the famous book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And basically said you come from a poor family and you could struggle your whole life and try to get rich, but you're not going to make it. And if you come from a rich family, you could be stupid your whole life and make it. Not because it was thinking, but it was unconscious behavior that was downloaded from rich families into kids, which is unconscious. So they're making the right moves unconsciously. If they engage their conscious mind, then they look stupid, but it's unconscious. And that's the same thing with poor people. Poor people have beliefs from the family. Oh, you can't make it. Life's a struggle. Things are hard. Who do you think you are? And if that's the program you get, then 95% of the day you will sabotage yourself. And that's why poor people stay poor and rich people stay rich, because of the programming. Before I put this knowledge into effect, and I use the word put into effect, why? I had the knowledge academically. It's like, oh my God, look at the research. What does it mean? I understood it from the level. And with all that knowledge, it didn't change my life. People read self-help books. I go, well, you read the book. You got a lot of knowledge. I say, is your life changed? No, but you got a lot of knowledge. And so here's the difference. The conscious mind is creative and can learn in any number of ways. Read a self-help book, go to a lecture, listen to this, and conscious mind's going to get some awareness. And I go, yeah, but subconscious mind doesn't learn that way. Subconscious mind learns in 2 fundamental ways naturally. Hypnosis, which is the first 7 years. And after age 7, how do you put new programs in? Repetition, practice. You want to drive a car, you didn't learn how by just getting in the seat and put the key in. You had to practice driving the car. You want to learn the alphabet. How many times did you go from A to Z? Try to go to A to Z before you can complete it. And once you completed it, you didn't have to go back and do it again. So 2 phases. You want to train the subconscious mind? Hypnosis, repetition. I like the last one because there's a new phrase that's bandied about called fake it till you make it. Meaning, if you're not a happy person, I say, you want to be a happy person? Then repeat all the time, I'm happy, I'm happy. I say, well, you don't look happy or anything. You say, no, who am I talking to? By repetition, I'm talking to subconscious. If subconscious gets, I am happy, and 95% of your life comes from that subconscious, there will be a point once the subconscious got, I am happy, you don't have to say it again. It'll be automatic. It's repetitive. And that's the secret part. Putting a sticky note on the refrigerator is more like a suggestion, but it's not a repetition. So it doesn't work very well. Repetition is a habit. It's making habit. So you got to do something religiously in the sense of repeating it to make it work. Every night when you go to bed, just when you're falling off into sleep, consciousness is disconnecting. The next period of your brain operation while your consciousness is disconnected is theta, which is the same brain function as in the first 7 years. So if you put a pair of earphones on at night with a program of what you would like to be true in your life, as soon as your conscious mind disconnects, that program is playing. It's not playing into your conscious mind. That's shut off. It's now going straight into the subconscious mind. So it's called auto-hypnosis. You don't need to go see a hypnotherapist. You just have to pick out what program would you like to have that you don't have. 95% of your life is coming from the subconscious. Your life is a printout of your subconscious behavior. Oh, so you don't have to try and think about what happened. I just say, look at your life. The things you like that come into your life come in because you have a program that supports them. But anything you struggle with, work hard at, put a lot of effort into making it happen, why you're working so hard, inevitably you have a program that doesn't support that conclusion and you're trying to override the program. So you don't need to do a lot of shrink and psychology stuff. You just look at your life and say, where am I struggling? Because wherever you're struggling, inevitably it's a program in your subconscious that does not support that destination you've been looking for. I had to deal with the issue of teaching medical students and going into the classroom. Teaching conventional curriculum is the old genes control life story. And so I go in there and teach that to medical students. But when I'd go back in my lab and look at my research on stem cells, my research revealed conclusively that the environment in which the cells live determine genetic activity. So it's complete opposite of what I was teaching in medical school. And the difference is profound. The conventional story, almost everybody's programmed with genes turn on and off, and then they control the character of your life. And if you buy that story, which I did and which I was teaching, it really means that we're victims of our heredity. We didn't pick the genes as far as we know. You don't like the traits, you can't change the genes, and the genes appear to turn on and off by themselves. All of a sudden you see your life is not under your control, it's under the control of the genes. And a lot of people feel that way looking at their family history and going, oh my goodness, I might have the genes for cancer or whatever it is. Since consciousness is involved, if once I feed you with an idea that you are susceptible to something, look, I can feed you with an idea that this pill that we just got from the pharmaceutical company, it's the greatest, best thing for your issue. And I give you this pill and you get better. And then later you find out it was a sugar pill and everybody goes, yeah, that's called the placebo effect. And I go, what does it really mean? You didn't get healed by the pill. You got healed by the belief in the pill. Well, yeah, that's what placebo is all about. And at least 1/3, minimum of 1/3 of all medical intervention is, it's the placebo effect where the healing comes from. Everybody goes, yeah, I know about the placebo. I go, yeah, but that's a result of positive thinking. What about negative thinking? And this is what we don't talk about, but the reality is it's equally powerful in regard to affecting your biology as is positive thinking, but it works in the opposite direction. A negative thought is called the nocebo effect. Can cause any disease and you can die. If you believe you're going to die, you can die from the belief. Here's a simple fact. Stress causes at least up to 90% of doctor visits. How can stress do this? And the answer is very simple. Stress causes a hormone called cortisol to be released in the body. So what does cortisol do? Number one, it causes the blood in the viscera, the guts, where maintenance of the body and healing comes from all the organs. It causes the blood vessels to shut down because it pushes the blood to the arms and legs. Why? Stress means you're ready to run, fight or flight. So you push the energy to where you need it, arms and legs. Well, where do you get it from? Well, you squeeze the blood vessels in the gut. Well, this is growth. The viscera is growth. That's what the organs are for. Arms and legs are for protection. If I'm in protection, I shut off growth. And more importantly, stress hormones shut off the immune system. The reason is just energy. The idea is if you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger and you have a bacterial infection, how do you want to split the energy? How much energy you want to run away and how much you want to fight the immune, with the immune system? The answer is the hell with the bacterium. I mean, if the tiger catches you, the bacteria is useless. It's meaningless, So when you're in stress hormones shut down the immune system to conserve energy. Does the immune system use energy? Of course. If you've ever been really sick, you never even got out of bed, you have no energy. And if you're in fight or flight mode, you need the energy to deal with the world. So stress hormones physically shut off the immune system. When you're under stress, that's when sickness starts to show up. In fact, it's so good at shutting off the immune system, doctors give patients who are going to receive a foreign organ, a graft of a kidney or a lung or whatever they're grafting, that's foreign tissue. If you put a foreign organ in your body, your immune system's job is to eliminate it. So as they're transplanting an organ, they give the patient stress hormones at the same time because stress hormones will shut off the immune system so the organ won't be rejected right away. That's how effective it is. It's used therapeutically to shut off the immune system. Yeah, but everybody out there in this world right now, with a small exception, is under some level of stress. Every one of those people is dripping stress hormones continuously in their body, and those hormones inhibit the immune system. And the result is illness. And if you stop the growth, you say, yeah, but I'm an adult, I don't need to grow. And I say, yeah, but you have to replace hundreds of billions of cells that you lose every day. So we really have to watch out because, as psychologists will tell us, 70% or more of our thoughts are negative and redundant, replaying the same negative thoughts. I go, if thoughts had nothing to do with it, fine. But thoughts, positive or negative, shape our biology. And all of a sudden it says, well, now it's time to wake up because our negative thinking is manifesting a negative life experience. But it's not just me saying this. It was me saying this when I first started doing this work in 1970. And my research was repeatable every day. I could take stem cells are embryonic cells, so they have no potential until you put them in an environment. And then depending on the culture medium, by the chemistry of the culture medium, I can make the cell become a muscle cell, change the culture medium, make the same cell become a bone cell, or change it again and make the same cell become a fat cell. And genetically, the cell's the same. It was the environment that I was changing. And I started talking about that long before the new science called epigenetics had come into vogue, which was 1990. So I was like 20 years ahead. And of course, for much of that time, my colleagues looked at me like I was a crazy guy because everybody knew the conventional dogma. And I was, coming up with a whole different line of belief about it. And now it's come into mainstream. The only problem is this. when you invest so much money into a belief system, and then a belief system isn't really right, you try to hold on as long as you can, because you spend hundreds of billions of dollars in this belief. You don't want to just go, oh, okay, we'll just change it. So it's a struggle, but the reality is coming forward, and the public is just becoming aware of it. And it's a revolution, because if you believe genes control your life, you're a victim of your heredity. When I say epigenetic control, almost sounds the same, but epi means above. So when I say epigenetic control, literally it's control above the genes. And this is what we now recognize, that the environment, and very specifically our perception of the environment, changes our genetic activity. So that means, well, wait, that's not a victim, because I can change my environment, I can change my perception, and all of a sudden, if I can do that, then I can control my genes. Well, we're going from victim to mastery, from genetics to epigenetics.
Brooklyn, boy, this is some trippy stuff, huh? I love it. Brooklyn, yes, please go ahead.
Namaste, mighty companions. I see the Course in Miracles in there. You change your mind, you change everything.
I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you change your mind and things change. There's a course for you. It's in everything.
It is
That's
pretty
Bruce
amazing.
Lipton, right?
What?
That was Bruce Lipton, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bruce Lipton. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I love him.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. It was very interesting. Yeah. But you change your mind, you change things.
Yeah,
Repetition. That's exactly what the course says.
exactly. And so yeah, the things that we do, I mean, even A Course in Miracles, doing the workbook lessons of A Course in Miracles is a way of shifting your programming, which, we do that all the time. Look at all the work that we're doing to shift our programming. But that they scientifically, and that's why I love this guy. He wrote that Programmable Mind, and then the other one is I actually I have an ebook by him of this basically, I'll find it out. But basically, how psychology affects biology, and the somatic effect of your thinking. Rico, yeah, please go ahead.
Good evening, family and friends. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you. I send you love and light from my heart to yours. Wow, Lynn, thanks for showing that. Dove, my friend, dear friend Dove, always says, no matter what you're talking about, you're always talking about yourself. And in this case, at the end of this movie, I was thinking about myself. And what I was thinking about was prior to my diagnosis, I'm not sure what kind of mindset I would have had going into that surgery. But since I had known you guys for about a year and a half then, and another half a year until I actually had the surgery, my mindset was completely different. I don't know what or was going to happen, but I knew where my mind was. And I think when I realized that I wasn't dead and I was alive in pain, that I felt very close to God. I don't know why. The pain and discomfort couldn't get any worse, believe me. But every time I thought about you guys, we had that little figure eight or whatever it was, that praying, and I took all that with me. So my mindset didn't go in there cocky, but my mindset went in there with, thy will be done. Whatever that is, thy will be done. And thank you. And that mindset changed everything. So thank you guys for being you, but I related to that. And it wasn't my mind like I got the power. It was my mind of surrender and thy will be done. And I think that got me through. So thank you.
Yeah, wow. And I do remember that very well, Rico. And just keeping the positive thoughts in my mind for you and all of us together and doing the Power of Eight. That was really that's one thing I do miss Amy for doing those kind of things, because she was always had something good to help us join together to help people heal. Um, of course, we could do that anyway, but yeah, that's wonderful, Rico, and I see you now. You seem so vibrant and so joyful. It just makes me so happy to know that. And I see Linda has her hand up. Go ahead, Linda.
Oh, well, that's okay. I was going to show my face too. What it brings up for me is a science of mind, Ernest Holmes, change your mind, change your life. And one of his basic teachings when I took prac training was if you go to the hospital and you walk in the room and see a sick person, you'd better call a practitioner because you do not see that. You believe in the fact that we are perfect, whole, complete, and you see the healed person. And I just love that. I fell in love with that very early on.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And how difficult that is, if you already convince yourself that the sickness is real,
Yeah.
because you don't want to fake it. Like what you was saying, fake it till you make it. You can't do that. I've done that with a lot of things actually, where I was believing it. I had the idea it was true, and then I just like pretended like, yeah, it works, and sooner or later, yeah, it worked. So yeah, fake it till you make it, I guess, works that way. Too, you can do it that. But how? I think this is the uh, uh, biggest question I always have. When it says in the Course of Miracles in the psychotherapy that healing occurs when the therapist no longer judges the patient, and that and you know that's the only way I can actually see being able to go into a hospital room with someone who's in a dire situation, or spend time with people who are in a bad situation, is to be able to see them uh, without judgment. And that's hard. I don't know. Anybody
Yep.
else have any?
Well, you learn that quickly that you don't tell the patient that. You don't walk in the room and say you're not sick. I mean,
Right.
it's something you carry, and yeah, it's difficult. You're right.
Yeah, because how do you convince yourself of that so that you're able to
Hmm.
act experience it that way? And I see Rafi has his hand up, and so does Steve. So please go ahead, Rafi.
Yeah, two things jumped up right away. One, the body is just another thought expressed. And so if you control the mind, you control the body. And the other thing is, since we have the power to control that mechanism we call the mind, like Lester said, if you get your mind really quiet and just say, I'm perfect, immediately the body is perfect. The other thing that I came is if I see everybody as divine love, I'm not seeing them as a person. So if they have ailments, there are no ailments because those are uh, um, a physical representation of a mental process. Okay, so and everything this guy did in that video you showed verified all of that. It's great. It's a great verification. It's a great backup. Here it is. How many times? How many different ways do we have to hear it? Well, here's another way to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. Yeah, like I said, I'm absolutely on with you, and it's just the practical aspect of how to actually change my mind. Yeah, and Steve, I bet you have some really good ideas about this. Go ahead.
Well, I'm very familiar with Bruce's work and I love it. And one of the things he talks about is that on the outside of the cell, it's kind of like they have these like satellite dishes that bring the impulse that gets signals from the environment, and then it informs the genetic material on the inside. It's kind of like the genetic material is the blueprint. But when you're building a house, you're the builder. You don't have to do everything that the blueprint presents. You get to choose and you can make alterations. And the thing about mind versus body, I mean, if you think about lemon, your mouth will water. So, in the same way, I mean, this is basic stuff. But what I've been thinking about regarding this is that there are choices. For example, I have chosen to replace, when I buy things, uh, to not feel like I'm depleting my bank account, but rather I'm increasing my life account, my joy account, my fulfillment. So I'm focusing through the power of decision, the quality of my life. And we're talking about healing here, but just the plain, of course, the natural state is to be healed and loving and fulfilled. And what I'm thinking about is, even when the time comes when I am about to take my last breath, there is something really special about this form of the body, because it began and it ends, and it's so short compared to the universe. Since the Big Bang, 13.8 billion years of lifetime. It is so unique, never will happen again, that this time between birth and death is so precious because it's so rare compared to how much time this form of Steve has. So even to the last breath, I hope to be with the choice for love, which the choice is not just in the head, it's that immersion, which you all know about, into this feeling of fulfillment, peace, love, healing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, that was lovely. And yeah, I it's again, it's so hard to see, because you know that what we are is eternal and have always been. And so this little flash in the pan of this particular lifespan in this little tiny place, it's precious. Yeah, it is just precious, and every single bit of it is just as equally precious. So, uh, you know, I think that there's nothing is lost. Uh, nothing goes wrong. We're just expanding ourselves into our truth, our reality of what we are. And I love that. I love that. Deb, yeah, I'm so glad you're with us. Please go ahead.
I'm glad I'm with you because things have shifted so much for me in the last few weeks, which might shift back, but I've read and heard
That out of your mind.
I know I've heard all this so long ago, and putting it into practice though, and really staying in the frame of mind of belief that I am loved by God, or that I know that I can't be one with God, but God's oneness is all I want. And the course taught me a lot of that language, but I know, just like you caught me saying it, I'm seeing the semantics, like this, to really change that consciousness. It's takes some discipline. And I love that, be vigilant only for God is like right in our course. And there was another line I heard in the course in the last, and it's funny because I read something in the course and I'm so thrilled with it. Like I'll think about it and think about it, and then I want to share it and I can't find it again. It's, and I found the concordance in the ACIM, in the where I get my daily lesson. It's anyway, I know it's available to me, but the part was when you're teaching a child, you don't want to say to them, don't do this and don't do that and don't do this and don't do that. You say, do only this.
Yes.
And I'm such an avid reader, and my ego just wanted, and every time if I read something and shared it, then people would compliment you. And so then that would just feed that, like, oh my goodness, it just, I, and knowledge is a pursuit of people who want to, like I wanted to know the peace of God. I wanted to know myself. And I thought if I did it through all the readings, all the knowledge, and, at some point I realized there's nothing new ever written that I could read and that would change, because what I'm looking for is what I'm looking with, and it's unchangeable. It can't be changed. It is perfect, whole, and complete. It has the ability to have perfect happiness. I mean, happiness might be a loaded word, but I just somehow am sure of it. I am so sure of it. And the saying about fake it till you make it always rubbed me the wrong way, but I did learn it another way that said act as if. And I want to act as if I know the love of God and I know the love of my brother and I know, you know, all the psychology courses, all the stuff to understand that everybody deep inside has a lot of the same feeling. And it may be ego that says I want to be special, I want to be loved, I want to be heard, but all those things are so easy to give another being. They are just to be kind. And for the last couple of years, and particularly since November, I was finding it impossible. And, thank God, because I I had to look at those triggers. I had to look at all the ways I thought I was better than or keeping myself separate. And I really do feel like my entire lifetime of beliefs are gone, which is the opening, which is the transcendence, which is the perfect place to be free. I am free. I am as God created me. And I believe me, I know there's a million more triggers because I still feel anger coming up, you know. And it's just act as if I know the love of God, anger, stay away. You know, I knew parents that raised their children saying no thanks, no thanks, but I couldn't seem to do it with those overwhelming thoughts that I would latch onto. So now it's like no thanks, no thanks, and stay with God, stay with the love, and the love of God is the love of my brothers too. It's that seeing the Christ in everything, everyone. Anyway, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You hit it right on the head there. It's so perfect, and it is. When people come and say, I just don't, I just am not feeling the love of God. I don't feel the love of God, and I didn't either until I started loving my brothers. When I started loving my brothers, I started experiencing the love of God. and now it's just overwhelming. And it's a choice, always a choice that you make. You know, what am I going to think about this brother? And every day it's a new discovery of, oh, I can do this. And like the other day, I can just bless them. You know, why am I cursing them? I could just be blessing them, blessing them, blessing them, blessing all day. All of a sudden, and I'm like freed up from a lot of the fear that was um, so strong in my mind. So this work we do together is it amazes me. Rick, please go ahead, and Rico right after.
Hey friends, my name's Rick and it's good to be here with you again tonight. I just need some direction on or correctioning. I'm not sure if I heard earlier today in one of the other groups that knowledge is power and we are to abstain or gain knowledge. Is that correct, or is that something I misheard?
Okay, no, you're absolutely right, because there's a difference between belief and knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the things that we think are knowledge are actually beliefs. I know this, I know that. Actually, I just believe these things. Knowledge is something that is, in the Course of Miracles, is really reserved for uh, our connection with God.
The knowing.
The knowing, it comes from the connection with God, the knowing of our the true self of what we are. When you know the true self of what you are, then you have the knowledge of everything that you need. Um, and you don't have to rely on belief anymore, because belief is, as Dove will always tell you, it's got a big old lie in the middle of it.
Right.
And so belief always is kind of like a hopeful thing. You know, maybe this could be true, but when you know, you know.
Right.
So knowledge is absolutely what we're looking for, but don't confuse beliefs with knowledge.
Right.
Because I could say, yeah, I know that Santa Claus is a real guy.
Okay.
Because
So
every
I think the
Christmas
key is
there's stuff
the
under
know.
my tree.
Yeah, I think the key to what all of this is the knowing.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, the video was amazing. I enjoyed it. A lot of it. I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
yeah. I
It
did put
touched
the link.
on to a lot of academic and some stuff that I just didn't know about. So I'll have to rewatch that. But thank you for your service. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rick. Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's for me. I don't do it
Well,
for anyone else.
I saw the David Bowie thing behind you, so I know I'm in the right place. So
Yes, you are. Oh my gosh. Isn't that the greatest movie ever? Uh, Rico, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say I absolutely love to listen to Deb share. I've heard her a couple of times. The last few times she's been here, ever since I've known her, she's been silent, and now I hear, and I don't hear with my ears. I feel her. I feel her spirit. And Deb, I just want to tell you, you really move me because of your transparency and the emotion that goes with it. I hear truth coming from you. And that's not to put you on a pedestal. It's just what I feel. Because sometimes while you're sharing, I close my eyes so I can't even see you and I listen. And about the knowledge, I haven't read 1/3 of the books that most of the people in this room have read. But God gave me another kind of gift, the gift of listening. And I can listen and I can feel. And I'm so much further now than I was when I first met you, just by listening to you guys' experience. And you've been vulnerable with me and you've been trusting. And I haven't always been the most trustworthy person in the world because I was a phony, a fraud, and a fake. So you don't trust people like that. But now that we get to the truth, I hear the truth like a lot of information helps a lot of people. I don't need a lot of information. I need to know, how do I live a spiritual life? And you guys give me that. and put your Virgin earplugs in, because I'm going to tell you what I think about information. If information doesn't lead to application, which leads to transformation, then it's like masturbation. The only one getting fucked is you. So I don't need information. I need to know, how do I live the spiritual path? And you guys have been giving me that. So I love you, Deb.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rico.
That's what I
And
was trying to say.
you both said it really well. Yeah. So and yes, information. That's all you got to know. It's all about form. It's I get information. It's not about knowledge. It's about the world. So yeah, I didn't make that up. That's a Dove Fishman information. So Sharon, please go ahead.
Well, I wanted to tell Rick that there's a book because he said he was in the 12 steps. It's the 12 steps in A Course in Miracles. And you know that. Okay, because that guy that came in today, the one that's going to start sharing, I forget his name. What's his name again? The one that was with us, Mike. Oh, yeah, he's
That's
wonderful.
Mike C.
And he does stuff with Maureen and he does stuff with Waking Together. And I think he's probably going to, you could even say, when he does his program, that would be helpful because there's a lot of us are 12 steppers, like that's where I was for years. Deb was in it, Brooklyn was in it, Rico, I think a lot of people.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's been a big basis of a lot of our groups and
it's a
for a long.
wonder. I mean, I can't say enough about it. We don't have a meeting for Al-Anon around here, but we might open another one. We tried. But it's really the thing about Al-Anon is it's such a great way of getting rid of your stuff. Because if you do them like all the time, those steps, that will undo it. Because it's all you're doing is getting rid of your grievances, most of them. So anyway, I love the biology of belief, and I love what he was sharing. And I think that Rico, you are amazing. I love when you share. Everybody is, but when you said before, it's just precious. Anyway, that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, really, honestly. Thank you, Sharon. And yeah, I just posted the link in here. This is a free online PDF of the book, The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. So, and I mean, he's a scientist, he's a doctor, and he, I believe in science. So, uh, anyway, Brooklyn, please go ahead.
Wow, thank you, everybody. Science and spirituality have never been closer. I love it. I love it. Two of my favorite things. I wrote a poem right before we got on today. And ego bullies me. And I finally figured out why it's bullying me. I figured, I didn't figure anything, but let me read it. I call it Hello. Okay. I meet who says I don't deserve as not of any part of me. Come to me, my child, in time. The gift of love is in now. Let echoes of shame sing their song, while in tune of joy that's trusted. Love needs no defense. I'm not going to listen to I don't deserve it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you, Brooke. That's beautiful. Just change the station. You can change your radio station.
I know, but ego says, no, I'm you, and it was fooling me for a while. I'm
Yeah. Well, and you notice from that video that we watched, those beliefs in my unworthiness come from a very early age. And it's really interesting because, I'm here with, basically two babies in diapers and always noticing how, from the very beginning when they're changing the baby's diaper and you're going, ooh, this is stinky. Oh, this is nasty. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The baby might not know the words, what's being said to them, but they get the feeling this is not nice. And um, I look at all the ways that throughout their childhoods, the society teaches us to shame our children, to keep them in some sort of order so they'll act a certain way. Uh, and nowadays when children, which there are a lot of really unruly children out there that are, haven't really been impressed with those rules. Um, People say such terrible things about them. That we're so mean to them, and they're so innocent. And then by the time that they get to an age where they can actually make a decision about their own thinking, they're already programmed to be ashamed of themselves. And Dr. David Hawkins, that shame is the lowest level of human consciousness. And that's I think that is uh you know, in some ways we try to go the opposite way, trying to make them proud without uh, any real evidence of that they should be proud of certain things, but also just making them feel so terrible about themselves that they go through their lives just trying to prove themselves to be better. Anyway, enough of that. I just thinking about that. My life, of course, is what the thing I can go by, and how long it took for me to actually be able to even um, have any sort of love for myself because I just always thought I was so terrible. And I think I think I can see a lot of people. Yeah, me too. That's not nice. We gotta remember ourselves how wonderful we really are, and reprogram ourselves to that. And I think Rafi's probably got something to say about that. Go ahead, Rafi.
Yeah. By the time you're 5 years old and you're in kindergarten, if you're raised by as a Catholic, you've heard the prayer, "Oh Lord, I am not worthy." Okay, right, right, all right. So that gets programmed, but only say the word, and my soul shall be healed. Healed from what? What is it? Got a disease? Okay, these are the things that run through a 5 year. That's the stuff that gets programmed in. And thank God for the release technique where they told you, would you rather be positive and love yourself or negative and beat yourself up? Well, naturally, you do that. You get to release all of that stuff and realize that by loving the self is love. You're loving the truth of what you really are. And the other thing that Brooklyn's poem nailed was that you don't have to listen to that thing. If every time a thought comes up, you could say, "Now, where did that thought come from? What is the origin of that thought?" Or wow, or sometimes I just look at it. Look at that. What the heck is that all about? And it goes away right away. So there's no I never identifying with them. So those are the two things I wanted to share. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rafi. And yes, it is just a matter of looking at the truth instead of the story. And Brooklyn, please go ahead.
Oh, I love this. We neuroplasticity. Yeah, this is scientific term. But when I first, like today, when it came to me, wait, it's bullying me. It's shooting me because you should do this because you don't deserve what you have. And I'm God, thank you. And when I wrote the part, "Come to me, my child, in time. The gift of love is in now." I took my child of the past and we're together. No one's gonna say anything about you. We're together.
I
Mwah.
love that's beautiful,
Brook,
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, one of my old 12-step solutions was when I first came in, first couple of years, I was a no God baby, but when ego used to bug me, trying to get me to get loaded, and he knows where my Achilles heels used to be, which was pretty women and cocaine. And he'd always give me thoughts of that. And my sponsor told me, just tell him, thanks for sharing, but I'm going to have a meeting with my high power right now. We'll see you later. And it just, so he says,
Amen.
Don't tell your God how big your problems is. Tell your problems how big your God is. And I just moved on.
Amen.
I love that. That is beautiful. And how easy it would be to just go into a spiral of shame and blame. But that doesn't help you at all. You just got to get out of that whole idea that you've done anything wrong. There's nothing has gone wrong here. We're all here now. Or if things went wrong and that's what brought me here, then that was the right thing, no matter what it was. And that's what I have to always remember. Where I'm at. This awareness is here and is not going anywhere. Sharon, yeah, please go ahead.
If we really look at Carl Jung's teaching, we put those people out there because they're just giving us back what we want to hear. So we can hate ourselves enough that we finally say, I give up, because it's always me. And when I come back to that, the world looks this way because we're projecting it. But really, everybody really does love each other because everybody is the I am. So, I feel like as far as like this, the way, because I talk like you, Lynn, like the way children are treated, I don't like it because I got yelled at, they got yelled at, but is anybody really getting yelled at, or are we putting them out there?
We're putting them out there is right.
That takes away a lot of the pain. It really does, because the victim, the ego is the lower consciousness, and the lower consciousness is just what you said about what Bruce shared about shame. And I would say shame was the worst thing I had, was shame more than anything, right? Because we shame ourselves in the beginning, like we're not okay. So, and what I was going to say, Brooklyn, your stuff is coming so from the pure consciousness. It really is beautiful. So you really have to look at that and say, wow, that's how I'm being guided, And it's so nice that you share it.
I don't know if it's 100% right, but Luigi talks, he thinks of consciousness, the ego and the world, the dream and the awareness is God. And it has made a difference for me to use the word awareness. And I did speak to somebody who's a pretty advanced spiritual teacher, and she kind of went like, you could, because I don't, there's a lot I just don't know, but it helped because it is consciousness. It's all consciousness, pure consciousness, but I like to think of God as awareness. That's all I kind of wanted to add. It helped to make that little bit of because the ego really exists, guys. It's fictitious, but it fights for its life, and that's why it attacks us, because it knows we're waking up. That's what the Course, I believe, says to me. It knows you're waking up, so it ramps up, but it doesn't really exist. It's never happy. It always hates. It always struggles. It always gets sick. It's the imagining. That dream to me is not reality. The reality is God's love. So that's, anyway, I'm not telling anybody anything they haven't gleaned from the Course, but I feel like we can't, I can keep saying it because I'm also teaching me and I'm learning. And thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this gift of the Course.
Absolutely. Thank you, Deb.
And you.
Yeah, we love you. But you're right that awareness really is what we are. The consciousness, the Course says consciousness was the first split. Consciousness was the first split. That's the thing that said, oh, I can be something independent and separate and different. So consciousness itself, although people have different definitions of consciousness, and it's all okay. It doesn't matter because it's a word, and you can't define what it really is. but the awareness is what we really are. The awareness uh, that is paying attention to the different whatever it is, and making the decisions. That's who's saying, which teacher am I listening to? Am I going to be happy about this, or am I going to be sad about this? Am I going to let this affect me, or am I just going to recognize that nothing's happened? I have those choices all the time, and it's awareness that's making those choices. It's not consciousness uh, in that sense anyway. So thank you, Deb, for that. That's my opinion anyway. Rafi, and then Steve, and then we'll close out after Steve. So go ahead, Rafi.
Yeah, Robert Adams, the master Robert Adams said one of the things that you can use is I'm choiceless, effortless, pure awareness. He said you could do that. He said that'll pretty much wake you up. A lot of the masters will tell you that consciousness, awareness, beingness, it's all the same. Enlightenment, um, uh, divine recognition, self-realization, all of those things allude to the truth of what we are, but you can't really name it because the truth of what we are doesn't have a name. It's beyond all that, but that puts us in the right direction for it. And so they're all here as aids. So whether you use consciousness or beingness or awareness, whichever one resonates with you, that's what works. Because everything here is working for us. That's pretty much it. Thanks.
Thank you, Rafi. I appreciate that very much. Steve, yes, please go ahead.
What's just occurring to me, it's a little off topic, but I think that to know the truth and to feel the truth is one thing, but to share it is what comes. Like if I hear a really nice song on the radio, I want to turn it up if a friend's around for them to listen to it, or if I'm cooking food and it smells really good, it tastes really good, I'm gonna want to, hey, taste this. And the way like Brooklyn shares her poems, and Lynn, you lead this, and the reason is that there's something really neat about sharing our experience. I don't think Jesus, we've been told, oh, he came to save us, to take away our sins. I think Jesus did the Sermon on the Mount for the same reason I'm sharing right now. I love to share. I don't think Jesus really had a choice. He was just overflowing. He said, man, on the Sermon on the Mount, he didn't just do it to save others. He did it to save himself, to express himself. This is my projection. I don't think he was any different than you and me in the sense of I know God to the extent that I express God. That's an old concept. I'm complete.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, I love that too. I love that too, because it is an experience, an expression. It's what we are. So thank you so very much. Thank you,
And
everyone.
ideas grow stronger too, Steve. I just wanted to say that. That's why groups work. When you share an idea, it grows stronger. And this is still an
Right.
idea, it's just a higher consciousness because we're not, this is still an illusory, but you want to feel better in the illusion. And that's
But
what it does.
As
we're
we teach, so
oh,
shall we learn.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. All right, you guys, I love you all so much.
Love us.
Bye,
Thank you for your
everyone.
love and service, Lynn. And to
Big
all of you,
hugs. Big
I love
hugs.
you. And there's
See
nothing you can
y'all.
do about it.
Thank you for
Love
your
you, love
service,
you, love you
Lynn.
too.
Appreciate it. See you tomorrow.
You guys are amazing.